This is Fort Wellington in Prescott, Ontario. And this is the front door, so to speak, or the main gate. So let's go in and see what's here.
First initially built here for the War of 1812, and at that time period British North America was fighting against the United States, which was right across the way. So one of the reasons that the Americans were so angry and started the war was because the British were impressing soldiers off of ships. They were saying that the Americans used to be a colony of theirs, so they technically still belonged to the British, which didn't really make the Americans too happy. And also at that time period, the Napoleonic Wars were still going on, so Britain wasn't too concerned with its colonies. They were concerned with being at war with France at that time. So we did build this blockhouse, and it was a lot larger at that time period. It was 100 by 100 rather than 50 by 50 today. But what we ended up doing is it started construction in 1813. And then there was an American by the name of Benjamin Forsyth. He was a captain over at Fort de la Prestation, which was the American fort over in Ogdensburg. And he had launched a few attacks over in Gananoque and Brockville just a few short months before the raid on Ogdensburg happened in February 22nd of 1813. So Red George, that was stationed here, wasn't too happy with that, and he ended up taking his troops out onto the frozen St. Lawrence River, which would have been a lot narrower back in that time period because the seaway hadn't opened up yet, so it was definitely a lot easier for it to completely freeze over rather than only partially freezing over today. But they ended up going out onto the frozen St. Lawrence and doing drill out there since the fort wasn't completely constructed yet, and they were just moving closer and closer to the American side. They weren't really prepared for that, so what they ended up doing was they burned down the American fort and they ended up looting the town of Ogdensburg. So they took any ammunition, any rations, anything that they could get a hold of, and they brought it back here. I like to joke that they would come back with a lot more cannons than they went over there with, for sure. And the fort ended up finishing construction just 3 weeks before the Treaty of Ghent was signed that ended the War of 1812. Now, it was a very shoddily built fort. They made it out of green wood. It had a very, very heavy roof. They had logs and dirt piled on top of each other to make it bomb-proof back in that time. So since you had the green wood and the very, very heavy materials on the top of the roof, it ended up collapsing, mostly due to the green wood rotting, since we would get a lot of snow and stuff in the area, which was really good in the winter time since you could use the St. Lawrence as kind of like a highway back then, because you could get onto your horse and carriage and you could go on that. But it was also very good in the summertime because you could use boats to go up and down it as well, which is how we ended up getting a lot of our supplies here.
This is the officers' quarters, and it would have housed 2 officers. But as time went on, there was only 1 officer here. And the furniture was made to be dismantled so they could take it along with them. This is the kitchen, and this is the officer's kitchen. And each officer would have had a servant. Actually, he had an enlisted man who was the servant. Now, we all know about how that works in the service. He did all the dirty work. But this is the kitchen. This served as a little bit of everything. Could be the officers' quarters. It could be where they ate their meals. It could be where they just needed privacy and came here.